I'm the producer. The role that I take in both Resident Evil 4 and in Under the Skin is that I'm the producer for both of those titles. Also, one little piece of interesting information is that the director of Resident Evil 4 is actually Shinji Mikami, the person who created the series from the start, and a person named Mr. Kato, who was the director on Resident Evil Code Veronica, is the director for Under the Skin. Well, I guess if I were to say what it's like to work on such a serious game like Resident Evil and such a comical game like Under the Skin, to sum it up in one word, it's fun. And so what also makes it so unique is that I've worked on Resident Evil games in the past, but to work on one where we've totally changed it around, I mean, rebuilt the whole series from the ground up with this new style, that's unique and interesting for me. As well as to work on a comical game, a game that's got comedy and seems kind of zany or wacky, so to speak. You know, a game for all ages, of which there are so few in the industry right now. It's really interesting. Basically, I was watching over people's various responses because this is the first time we have showed this to the public on such a large scale. And yeah, it was a blast for me to see how most Americans and how a lot of the people here were reacting when they were playing the game, because just seeing them being chased by the chainsaw guy and they're like, oh, and seeing them smash down doors, seeing how excited they were when Leon would do the various actions. And of course, when Leon got his head cut off by the chainsaw guy and they go, oh, just that reaction alone was priceless. Basically, if you look at most Japanese designers, makers, they're all doing repeats. I mean, that's one of the things about the video game business is if you get a hit, nobody's not going to make a sequel to it. You can see that in movies as well. But yes, we were guilty of that in the past. But most of the creators in Capcom feel that unless you start bringing in originality into the video games and don't keep doing rehashes, then the video game industry itself is going to hit a major crash eventually. People are going to lose interest in games if they keep churning out the same things over and over again by just adding a few extra levels or a new character or something like that. And we at Capcom, we want to keep making games. That's what we live for. So in order to make sure there is an industry to support us making games, we have to act now. And one of the things we're doing is making original games to try and keep people's interest. First off, I'm going to start with Resident Evil 4 about what I think makes this game so interesting. Probably if I were to choose one thing specifically, personally, that I find unique about it, it's that you've got a ton of different action games out there. They all follow kind of like the same formula. But with Resident Evil, the ability to have Leon to have so many different actions, a variety of actions using the single action button. You've seen this on limited level in other games, but just the sheer amount of things he can do with that single button is just great. I find that really fascinating. And the one thing that I feel makes Under the Skin so cool is that you've got a game where you have no blood, nobody dies, and no dismemberment. I think that makes it very unique in the slew of titles we're seeing this year alone. I guess if you're gonna put all the jokes aside, the one area that I like is probably the character Kozumi. He's just cute. He's fun to control. I like the character a lot. Basically, it starts off the graphics designing phase, of which a lot of people seem to think that Capcom's graphics are really unique. The phase begins with paper. You have the artist draw several conceptual designs on paper, and then after that they try and put them into the machines, of course draw them in the various paint programs, the art programs, etc. That can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. For long games it can take up to 6 months. So that's what you're looking for in almost every single game, whether it's a unique style or not. It's usually going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 months. First off, I want to talk about Resident Evil 4. When I talk about the one thing that I want everybody to walk away from this interview with is that Resident Evil 4 is totally a redesign of the series, yet we still have left enough in it to be faithful to its roots. It's still a Resident Evil game. We know a lot of people that love the series are going to look at this and say, Capcom are sellouts, or Capcom has totally ruined Resident Evil. What? There's no zombies, and get upset. We hope that they can look past that into actually trying to play the game, because once they do, they're going to realize there's still a ton of things that make this game Resident Evil. That being said, we, the designers, even were bored with the game, with what we had done up till now, so we wanted to do it something totally new and original. It's a big risk, but we hope that people that had played Resident Evil before and gotten bored of it, or people that maybe didn't even like it to begin with, will give this a shot, because we really do think we have a great product in our hands with this game. It's a game a lot of people can enjoy. And the last thing I'd like to say about Under the Skin is that it really is a crazy, zany game, very original. Not many games out there could even be similar at all to the style we've created with this. The reactions of the characters, as well as the cute main character Koizumi, are just fantastic, and just the variety of stages we've prepared. There's the town stage, the pilot stage, a ruin stage, and then to top it off, there's even a Resident Evil stage. So for those fans that want to try Resident Evil in a sort of comical, zany world, this is your only opportunity to do it.